So the first one, and that's for sure needs to be the first, is to align, to put in line your business and your life. And to be honest, you should have taken this step long time ago, years ago, okay? It's the strategic planning. It's where we start from. But, you know, I'm afraid that most of you didn't do that. I know that I didn't do that at the beginning. So, you know, we'll have to start doing it today. And we're going to just start. So don't expect it to be complete. We're going to just start, but you will have all the information to keep on working on that at home. Now, your business, if we take this as your business or your expert business, whatever you want to call it, and we're talking about expert business, so although all the parts will fit also a grocery shop, we are talking about an expert business. Is that clear? That's what you are for me. So every expert business has 4 parts. Okay, has 4 parts. And you need to align all of them, each and every one of them, with the rest of your life. Okay, with the rest of the things that goes in your life. So the first part is called your message. What is your message? And I will go in more detail. I just want to give you now the 4 parts. The next one is who is your audience? Who is your audience? Okay? The third one is what kind of solutions you offer the market or your audience. What kind of solutions? And this will, for some of you, will really confront you because you decided a long time ago what is the only solution that you can deliver, and you're missing huge opportunities. And you don't give the maximum to them. So we hopefully will change that. So what are the solutions you have to offer? And the last part is actually how are you going to get it to them, which I'm going to call it right now promotion, but you can call it any other name that works for you. How are you going to promote your business to the world? Okay? So all those 4 parts needs to align to something that is, let's put it here, it's outside of the business, and it's called your lifestyle. How will all those 4 parts align and fit, be in line with your lifestyle? In my opinion, everything in your business should support your lifestyle. It's true that we all want to make a better world and we want to help everybody else and we want to impact. But if it's not supporting my lifestyle or it's contradict my lifestyle or it's fighting my lifestyle, then I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to help the whole world and be miserable. Anybody recognize that? How many of you are giving a lot to the world, but you're not feeling that your lifestyle reflects that? All right. I felt that for so many years until enough was enough, and that's when we started to change. Okay? So let's design our business, to fit our lifestyle. Shall we? So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to ask you to write the questions down. It's not a lot. Then you have time to think about that. So it's not something that I expect you to come immediately with the answers. It will take time. But I'll share a little bit from my answers, and if you come up with something that's very clear, you're very welcome to write it down. So the first question, it's about, how many hours you want to work. So it's being divided into 2 parts. The first one is, how many hours do you want to work per week? Let me repeat that and emphasize. How many hours do you want? You listen to the word, want? So write it as I say, don't invent a word. How many hours do you want to work per week? And the second part of this still first question, the second part is how many hours are you willing to work per week? And it's not the same. I know that in Dutch, will and will, it sounds the same, but those are different, right? How many do you want and how many are you willing to work? I'll tell you for myself, okay? This year, in 1st of January, when I put for myself the goals for this year, I put for myself a goals on how many hours I want to work per week. And the way I defined it for myself, it says, excluding the trainings, which I never considered as work, this is not work for me. This is where I have fun. Okay, so excluding those hours, I want to work 10 hours per week. That's it. Okay, that's what I want. I didn't say that that's where I am. I said that that's my goal. Okay, it's always farther than where I am today. Does that make sense? So that's what I put for myself. But when I'm asking myself, how many hours am I willing to work a week, then it's very easy for me to say 60, 70, probably 80. That's what I'm doing today, and I'm enjoying that. I'm having time most of the time. Today, my system is organized that I don't do anything that I don't like. So it's true that I'm not always giving trainings, but even if I'm, the day before yesterday, I was spending part of the day in the studio just recording a new course about passive income. So, I didn't enjoy that at the beginning. Now I'm starting to enjoy that. So I don't mind doing that. And I don't mind doing a lot of other things. So there is a little bit of a discrepancy between how many hours I want to work and how many hours I'm willing to work. Is that making sense? Now, ideally, those numbers needs to be the same. Okay, ideally. Okay, so if I want to work 10 hours, but I'm willing to work 60, 70, then it will be very hard to get to the 10, right? So I need to change that a little bit. And I'm looking at myself. I'm not perfect yet there. But you need to ask yourself those questions. So again, I don't ask you to do that now, but something to consider. How many hours you want to work a week? How many hours are you willing to work? The next one. This is important, very important. We're talking about experts, not about a grocery shop owner. Do you want to be a public person or a private person? Because as soon as you become an expert, then you might start getting in touch with what we call publicity and being public. And again, to share from my own life, I very clearly don't want to be a public person. Okay, which freaks out my team many times, because whenever comes an opportunity to be on the TV, I say, no. Okay, for example, because I don't want people to recognize me in the street. I'm having totally, great time that my students are coming to the room and they know me for 2 days and they had a good time, and then if they see me in the street and say, hey, Nisandi, I've been into the business bootcamp, that's great. Okay? It doesn't happen too often because, at the end, it's 10,000 people a year, and most of them forget me after a while, but, and there's a lot of population here in Holland. And I'm very happy that when I'm going abroad, nobody knows me. But I remember walking in the street with Roy Martina, for those of you that know him, in the days that he had a television show, and it was hard to move from one place to another without somebody come and say, hey, Roy, my name is, and I saw you on television. And my worst nightmare, no, not my worst, but one of my worst nightmares, is I'm going in a sauna, and I'm having my good time, with myself, and, and people recognize me. So that's me. It doesn't have to be you. People are very different. Okay? Vered, my daughter, those are people that would love to be a public person. Okay? So that depends on you a little bit. And that changed the way that you work. Is that making sense? Okay, you see how it can affect when you make a decision on that, how it will affect what you're doing later. Right? And you'll see later how it goes. So public or private person. The third one, would you prefer to work with people or alone? Now, listen to the way I asked it. Would you prefer to work, the emphasis on the word to work with people or alone? I didn't ask you, would you prefer to be with people or alone? That wasn't the question, but just the work. I made the decision to become a public speaker because I wanted to work with people, not because I liked people, but because I was afraid of people. And that was my way to grow, to challenge myself. I knew that my best way to grow is to confront myself with other people. So I forced myself to do that. So my choice, very conscious choice, was I want to work with people. Does that make sense? This kind of work. However, when I do the work that I'm doing behind the scenes, when I'm preparing, when I'm creating, when I'm, whatever it is in the development phase, I prefer to work alone. So I don't have an office, I don't have a table, I don't have a computer or a chair in our office. There are 12 people that have their positions there. I don't. I'm working from home. Does that make sense? So those are choices that you need to make at one point or another. Are we clear? Yes. All right. The next question. Next question. How many days per year are you willing to travel more than an hour away from home? Everybody has it? Anybody wants to know what's my answer? 0. 0. I'm not willing to drive even one day more than an hour away from home. This is me. It's a decision. It's a decision. I will not be willing to be stuck in traffic for work. No way. As a result of that, you're coming to Nieuwegein because I'm living 20 minutes away from here. And I will not do this training in the south of Holland or the north of Holland or wherever it is because it will take me more than an hour to get there. It's a choice. Is that making sense? Not everybody makes those choices. Many of you are traveling more than that, and you're okay with that. But you need to ask yourself, am I okay with that? What is it that I prefer? That's what I'm asking you. So my preference is exactly 0. And in my office, by the way, which I do travel there, every week for meetings or whatever it is also located about 12 minutes from my home. and we're thinking of moving it away, but the instructions are very clear. You can move it away wherever you want, as long as it's less than half an hour from my home. Anywhere you want in the world. Is that clear? It's a choice, but you need to make those choices. Some of us are never making those choices, and we're surprising one day that we come home at 11 o'clock at night. We don't see our kids, our dog, our wife, or whatever it is, and we say it happened to us. No, it didn't happen. You just never made another choice. That's why it should be happening in the beginning, and if not, then today. Are we clear? Yes. All right, the next part of this question, same question, but the next part is how many days per year are you willing to stay 2 days or more away from home? Again, for work, we're not talking about vacation. So how many days per year are you willing to stay 2 days or more away from home? Now, my answer for that is, anybody can guess? Exactly 0. It doesn't work this way in reality, okay? It doesn't work this way in reality. I am spending a lot more than that away from home, but I do not teach anywhere abroad. Anywhere. And that's a decision. And we had so many opportunities to go to do work all over Europe, in the Far East, in America, and everywhere. And I said, at one point or another, I mean, it was always kind of the deals were almost done, and at one point they exploded. And it took me time to realize that they explode not because of the other side is an idiot, but because it just doesn't fit me. It's just not what I really want. I don't need to give another business bootcamp in Spain. You know, that doesn't do it to me. That's why I don't do that, because I don't want to travel. Verd loves traveling. So she's giving, you know, she's doing lectures all over the world, and she's traveling whenever she likes it. I don't. I don't even like travel for vacation. I don't mind getting there. I mean, I don't mind being there, but the traveling part is, for me, it's a horrible thing. And so I don't teach. However, because most of the world is outside of Holland, then if I want to learn, what to do? You know, we tend to think, you know, but since the most of the world is outside, when I want to learn or when I want to meet with real experts, you know, that I cannot find here, then I usually travel. But you need to make a decision how many it is for you. Are we clear? Yes. Do you see how that can define what you're doing and how you're doing it? If you make that decision? So those are important decisions. Again, I don't expect you to have the right answer right now, but this is something to think about. And the fifth question, is how much money would you need in order to sustain this lifestyle? Is it 3,000 euros a month? Is it 5,000 euros a month? Is it 10,000 euros a month? Or a year, whatever you want to calculate it. How much money? The importance of those questions, at least from my observation, I don't know how it is for you, but until you answer those questions, until you really know what are the answers that are right for you, it will be very hard for you to plan your business the right way. That's when you never did that planning or never did this strategic looking at what is important for you in your lifestyle, that's why you get this imbalance. But when you know that this is your goals, now everything else should fit into that. You figure out how to use your expertise in order to get to that lifestyle, and that's the whole point.